Hey everybody, I kind of wanted to come on tonight and share a little bit about some story pieces and what I'm doing with my life and kind of how I ended up here. I'm going to keep it as short as possible, but I've been getting a lot of questions because I'm obviously posting all different kinds of stuff about the different things that I'm doing. And I want to kind of explain how I ended up where I am. So brief background. So 10 years ago, I was in grad school and I was getting my master's degree in Holocaust and genocide studies, which a lot of you know, a lot of you don't know. And yes, that's really a thing. That's a full 2-year master's program. And I was really passionate, and it's one of the 3 times in my life that I can recall being just totally immersed in, totally devoted to learning about something. First was in Holocaust and genocide studies. Second was really when I found fitness. And then the third is it really in what I'm doing with Bitcoin now. And I'm going to explain how all of those things relate. So I was in grad school, did a lot of traveling, did a Holocaust tour through Europe, ended up in Korea, Cambodia, Thailand, doing research, and developed this real desire to do something in the humanitarian realm. And life circumstances led me in a slightly different direction once I graduated. And I found that working in that field was it was a hard thing to get into. And again, because of life circumstances, I made some other choices. But that's kind of when I found fitness. So I was living in New York City at the time, really finding it challenging to work in the field of NGOs, or my dream was working for the UN. But those things were challenging. So I'd always been into exercise and dance, and I was into yoga. So I ended up getting my yoga certification, and right after that, my personal training certification, and was really passionate about those things. I started out doing personal training, teaching kettlebell classes, teaching yoga classes, doing all kinds of private lessons, managing the personal training department of an Equinox in New York, and then ended up in Southeast Georgia where I opened my gym. And so so really with the Holocaust and genocide studies, it was about really, humanitarian. I mean, that's what really connected with me in terms of, making sure those things don't happen again, and really understanding with and connecting history from a lot of different standpoints. And so I always kind of had a little bit of sadness and regret that I didn't do more with that. And when I went into that, I thought that, I would do NGO work, or I would, I would write curriculum for schools, or I didn't really know at the time. But I've always lived with a little bit of regret not doing more with that. So when I got into fitness, it was kind of like, obviously not the same thing, but I was really able to connect with people and to help people. And in the time that I owned my gym, I worked with somewhere between 400 and 500 people, I would say. And a lot of them had this really great success with weight loss. So it was kind of, I wasn't doing NGO humanitarian work, but I was really helping people change their lives, and I felt great about that. And when I sold my gym, I'd already been working as a business coach and consultant, and kept doing that. And I felt so good about being able to share the things that I'd learned and continue to learn and help people grow their businesses. And one of the things I've talked about before that I've always been really good at is building relationships, whether with people in person or through writing or video, whatever it is. And so that's kind of how the idea of Authentic Conversion was born, which is the subscription content business that I have for gym owners. And I have clients everywhere from Australia to the UK who are subscribed to that, which is really exciting to be able to share my content. And so hopefully this whole sequence of events is kind of making sense. But it's really always been about helping people. And when I first heard, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Actually, let me stop. My primary 3 businesses that I have right now, number 1 is in online weight loss coaching. The second one is, as I mentioned, authentic conversion. It's the content subscription business that I have that I am so passionate about. It is like totally aligned with my soul, and I can't believe I get to actually make money doing it and helping people in that way. So that's so cool. And then the third is in cryptocurrencies, and I'm helping people get involved from an education and an investment standpoint. And so when I first heard about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, I didn't really pay attention, probably like most people. It didn't really mean much to me. And then I got involved in it from an investment standpoint, which looking back on it now, we're lucky as Americans to be able to look at something like Bitcoin as an investment opportunity. But what really drew me into it was not the investment opportunity after I learned more about it, but how it connects to what I did and what I wanted to do within that realm of humanitarian work. And so actually, as I'm talking, I'm kind of thinking I should do a totally separate talk to connect those two things and to talk about the humanitarian components of Bitcoin. But what people need to realize about Bitcoin, and this is why I've spent probably at least 50 hours a week for the last couple of months just learning and educating myself, is that if you happen to live in a first world country, whether you're in the US or Canada or Australia or the UK, wherever you are in a first world country, Bitcoin is not about you and it's not about me. It's about the other 6 billion people on this planet who don't have access to banking, who are unbankable, who live under corrupt governments, who can take things from people at any time, who rely on, stashing valuables and goods under a mattress and hoping it doesn't get taken from them due to natural disasters or, again, corrupt regimes and governments, who just have to hope that they don't get pulled out of bed at night for saying the wrong thing online or for going to the wrong protest. And that's what I want to kind of start with here, is that my decision to get involved and to actually brand a business, Asheville Crypto Consulting, around Bitcoin and altcoins as well, it has nothing to do with the investment opportunity and everything. It does. I'm helping people get invested, but the part that's exciting about it is about the other 6 billion. If that is interesting to you, let me know, and maybe I'll just do a separate presentation and kind of educate people, because I think we've made a big mistake here in looking at it purely as this kind of skeptical investment, what's going to happen. But when you understand what Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the blockchain, when you understand what they mean for the world and how it's going to change the world and change life for the other 6 billion people who have not been able to participate in international trade and commerce, and who have lived these very oppressed lives, again, in very corrupt places like Venezuela and Zimbabwe and India, Philippines and Indonesia, all these places, these people need this obviously a lot more than we do. And when you start to look at it for how it can change those people's lives, then it becomes, when the market dropped last month and Bitcoin, went from basically almost $20,000 per to about 6,000 at the bottom, there was never a moment in my mind, not one moment, where I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose everything. This is going to go away, because this is what the world needs. This is the next logical step for the world and for humankind. And that is so exciting to me. And I hope it is for you too. And if you don't really understand how this works, let me know, because I'll talk more about it. But again, giving people, the opportunity to have a free and clear title to land that's been in their family for generations, so it can't be taken by governments, and to have decentralized money available. I think it's great for us, but again, this is not about us. So if that is at all curious to you, I would be happy to elaborate. Even, tomorrow night I can put something together, but yeah, so this is what I'm doing with my life. I have my weight loss coaching. I love that because I get to help people change their lives. I have my my authentic conversion it's so cool because I am a writer by nature. I have been since I was 15, and I get to share, I'm not good at very many things, but I get to share that gift that I do have with other people and help them develop relationships and grow their business. And this whole connection to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, helping people get involved from an education standpoint, from a trading standpoint, and from a mining standpoint, which is all so exciting. So, but really the most important thing is for me to lead with the education piece, to lead with that connection that pulled me in so deeply into this realm of obsession that I've been in learning for months now, because I saw, history and all that time I'd spent studying about governments and oppression and genocide and those things, and I saw the connection with that to cryptocurrencies and how this, again, changes the world for the other 6 billion. And I said, this is something I have to be a part of. 100%. This is something I'm so excited about. I believe in so much. And really, it's one of my 2018 missions is just to share with people the implications, because there's so much fear, there's so much uncertainty, so much doubt, so much speculation. And when you look at it for the humanitarian cause that it truly is, at kind of under the surface, then it's a really, really powerful thing. And so I'd never got to go live and work overseas the way that I had wanted to. I had dreams of working for the UN, which I quickly learned as an American female who was at least trilingual, that was not going to be possible when I was living in New York. But this gives me the closest connection that I'm able to feel toward that thing that, was the first thing ever in my life really to touch me on soul level. So I hope that kind of makes sense. And I'm not sure if I'm explaining it very well, but I came from a meetup tonight. It was 10 people, maybe, a crypto meetup here in Asheville. And, we were talking, it was a great group. I learned some things. We were talking a lot about hash, which is solving the math problems. There was a lot of technical talk. There were people in security there and that kind of thing. If that's all I knew about it, it wouldn't do much for me, but because I know about the humanitarian cause, it just drives my passion so much more. So hopefully you can see that connection, and hopefully I'm not just rambling, but that's kind of what's been on my heart. Those are my 3 primary businesses. I have other things I'm doing. I'm copywriting. I'm doing all kinds of stuff, but those are the 3 things that really drive and motivate me. So I hope all of that makes sense. And maybe I'll pop on again tomorrow night and do a little bit more of a rundown about Bitcoin specifically and how I think it is going to change the world, and putting it into somewhat of a historical context, just so people can be educated. Because if you look at it as an investment opportunity, as an opportunity for you to make money, yeah, that's there. I'll be perfectly honest. I've made money in it, but that is missing the point. We are lucky that we get to look at it from an investment opportunity, and not as an opportunity of true necessity. So I'll probably jump on again tomorrow night. And I'm so excited. Hey, Jake, I have a good friend who we're going to do a Facebook Live interview on Wednesday. And he is going to, he doesn't even know. I haven't prompted him with questions yet, but he's quit his job and he's in cryptocurrency full time now, which is really exciting. So I'm going to bring him on my Facebook Live on Wednesday, and we're going to share some cool stuff with you. But post questions if you have them. I hope this is kind of interesting, or makes you at least want to get on YouTube and see what the heck I'm talking about. But I'll come on again tomorrow and I'll explain a little bit more. So everybody have a great night, and I appreciate you checking this out.